98.3 FM is the sound of Lagos because regardless of whatever social class you might be in, regardless of your interests, whether it be politics, whether it be economics, whether it be international relations, whether it be sports, entertainment, what we do is that everybody's radio need is met on this station. And if you're an ardent listener, you'd see that this is a narrative that we always pride ourselves in. So for lovers of news, people who like to know what's going on a daily basis, I'm pretty certain that you're on your way to work, you're waking up, cleaning, preparing your shop for the day's business. Well, the beauty of radio once again is that you can turn on your radio, hang it on some corner in your room, carry on with your activity while still being in tune with what is happening around you. And of course, we have the luxury of expertise, because on every program that we hold on here, we always make sure that we have enough information, proper vetted information from people who really understand the complexities of these stories. This is me summarizing all the things you stand to benefit if you join the mainland 98.3 FM family. We're very active on social media as well, so do well to join us on social media. Follow, like, comment, turn on the post notification button. What this does is that the minute we post something, the minute we go live, the minute there's anything going on in the live studio that's being streamed, you would immediately get a notification on your phone. Our handle on social media is mainland 98.3 FM. Our frequency is our handle, so it makes it all the more easier for you. Mainland 98.3 FM is how you find us on social media. We are about to start reviewing the papers on trends in the papers. The Morning Express is 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. Different segments, from newspaper review to international stories, to an opportunity for you to join as well on a segment that is called Mainland Focus, and so on and so forth. But right this very moment, the next, say, 45 to 50 minutes, with the help of our in-house analysts, we are about to start looking at the front page of our dailies. In no particular order, we would be reviewing the Guardian newspaper, the Punch newspaper, if time permits, so it's the Vanguard newspaper. A lot of times the stories are replicated, so we will do the best we can to cover as many stories as possible. Our in-house analysts will be joining us via the phone. My name is Sage Babalola. We're streaming live on Facebook at this very moment, so you can follow us and listen. And also, if you're not even able to listen in real time, one thing you can do is you can watch these videos after, which means that when you, if you're busy and at your convenience, you could go to our social media platforms, you could go on there and look for the video, and you can go watch what exactly we had spoken about, and in fact interact with all the people that had commented on that particular story. We're trying to connect with our in-house analysts, but a lot of conversations have been going on, even in the world of sport. It was so surprising to see yesterday that social media was awash with the conversation around the Super Eagles and their performance at Morocco. Well, it was less about their performance at Morocco, which was surprising. I mean, 4-0 is such a beautiful thing. Is an amazing thing, right? It's a great thing after the losses that we've suffered in recent weeks. But at the end of the day, it was the altercation between Victor Osimhen and his teammate Ademola Lookman that was really all over social media. I was hoping to have a little bit of banter with Fuad Said before we get into the major stories, but I don't think that we're having much luck connecting with Fuad Said. Let's see if we can reach him another way. We'll go on a break. I think that's the best thing to do, so we can secure that connection and there's no back and forth or any rambling. Please stay with us. It is Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. We'll be with you in a bit.
Stations are tuned in too.
Welcome to the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Fuad Said, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sage. How are you doing?
I'm fine. You're very proud. So you don't want us to we're calling you. You're using us to. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. You come to this office for outside. I understand it's quite difficult, honestly, to multitask. I know that you're moving around, trying to put things in order, whilst also driving, whilst also actively trying to talk to us. So I understand. I was just making a joke. Thank you for joining us, regardless for outside.
Thank you for having me.
I was already having a conversation about. I was hoping to come this morning, to talk about the victory of Nigeria in Morocco yesterday, 4-0. It's a great thing, but unfortunately, the altercation that happened between Ademola Lookman and Victor Osimhen is what a lot of people are paying attention to, with many pundits on social media saying, well, there's this arrogance that has now taken over Victor Osimhen, but that, again, there are members of his team who are also doing exceptionally well in their careers, and nobody named him the policeman of the Super Eagles to the point where he's finger pointing his teammates, and the conversation around him having an outburst. Although there's no major confirmation that he had an outburst and said, well, he doesn't want to be in the Super Eagles anymore, dropped his accreditation tag. There were even rumors that he had in fact said he's going to leave the team, but news reports are telling us that that's not the situation. Did not escalate to that point, and in fact himself and Ademola Lookman, at least based on Lookman's post on social media, that they've resolved it. These things happen on the pitch. Sometimes you're overtaken by passion, you lose your temper in the heat of the moment, but he's my brother. It's okay, we're fine. We've resolved the issue. For us, what do you? I just want to get your opinion on the whole, drama and people escalating the whole thing.
Well, we're in the era of social media, and you expect that, of course, that platform gives an opportunity for people to put out their opinions there. And apart from people who just want to put out no sense opinion, who just want to, say the way it is, the way they feel about it. There are also people who would also want to make money from these things. We have bloggers, you have influencers, so everyone, jump on things like that to begin to draw some form of attention and trend, if you understand what I'm saying. So I'm not surprised that this has gotten that kind of attention on social media, different narratives. In fact, I'm seeing some people even post that they're already in Turkey, that he has actually returned to Turkey, blah, blah, blah. So all around things, disinformation, social media is what it is. But I think for us, the focus should be on the fact that, look, the Nigerian football officials in Morocco are telling us that all is well with the team, and that, look, the altercation on the pitch has not divided the team. Again, Ademola Lookman, I think, has done very well in also ensuring that, look, people understand that, look, this thing just happened. Sometimes you are carried away, you're taken over by your passion, your desires, and sometimes, you have footballers shouting at themselves. You understand what I'm saying? So I like the fact that, look, the team is one united team. It's all been resolved. But again, there are lessons to learn. I think the biggest of the lessons should be the one that I think Victor Osimhen should pick. The reality is that he has to begin to understand that sometimes, emotional intelligence is also very, very important in life. Talent is one thing, attitude is another thing entirely. And a lot of times, you have a lot of talented people who, by their attitude, just mess everything up for themselves. If you understand, we understand his passion. We understand that, look, if you can pick out who is committed to the Super Eagles, who is committed to ensuring that.
Fuad, we can barely hear. Okay. I think you might need to move a little bit if you can. Hello?
Sport, if you understand what I'm saying, it's a team sport. And I think for every member of the team, you can't diminish the contribution of any member of the team, if you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. And the goals will come from Victor Osimhen. I know the goals will definitely come. Sometimes it starts like that. You have a top striker, early in the competition, they don't get the goals they really want to get. And before you know it, they get into the knockout stage and the goals begins to come. And I think the most important thing is not for individual success like this. It's for the entire team to come out victorious. We are hoping that, winning this competition will at least compensate for they are not being able to make it to the World Cup this year. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm happy that at least all is well now, but I think Victor Osimhen should calm down. He needs to calm down. He needs to. Yes, he's one of the leaders of the team. I think that he stands, apart from being the captain, the next person to get the campaign armband in terms of the number of years in the team and experience has to be Tʀᴇ. So, rightfully so, it's also a leader in the team. But leaders must also learn to manage their anger. And I think that's just the only thing for me in your story. But it's good that the team is back, one united team, no problems in the team. So that again on Saturday, we can go out there and defeat Algeria. That I think we can do.
Mm-hmm. Well, they need to work, and I 100% understand. The thing is that it's impossible to work with talented people. You can't put talented people in a room, or intellectuals, for example, in a room and not expect.
A lot of work.
It's hard, especially if everybody on there is just as talented and just as brilliant. There would always be a clash of ego. At the end of the day,
these are rich people too.
They're rich, they're talented, they're famous, they've won awards. All of them in one team. I mean, it's bound to happen. But at the end of the day,
even talented people without money, there's problem. How much money is one?
The thing is that non-talented people with a mobile phone are proud, and they'll be arguing with you on social media. So
that's another problem.
So it's understandable. But as Lukman has said, and you have said, at the end of the day, just resolve your issues, find a middle ground. It's a team sport at the end of the day. Well, I was going to even talk about, there was a fire at Kingsway when I was coming to work today. A truck carrying metals, caught fire today. But the fire service, they got there. We saw them speeding, trying to get there on time. They were able to manage the fire, but I think it was the truck that was affected. Thankfully, no other vehicle was affected by that fire. They were able to manage.
Give that to Lagos.
Yes.
Give that to the Lagos government.
They were able to manage it because they got there as fast as they could. Obviously, they had to stop traffic for a bit. I even thought I was going to be late, but they also made sure to at least create a little bit of a pathway so that other vehicles could.
I think the Lagos.
Yes, go ahead, please.
No, I think you have to just commend the Lagos government when it comes to responses to fire, accidents or things like this. They are always on point. I remember that there was a truck that was going to get bumped in front of our office here sometime last year.
Yes. And
you can see that immediately we called, the speed at which they arrived at that place was what saved the situation. So, that's one thing I think you have to commend the Lagos government for. There's still more that can be done. Though. It's not as if it's a perfect situation, but at least if you compare it to the other side of the state, you understand what I'm saying? There's nothing happening there anyway. So kudos to the Lagos State and the Lagos State Fire Service. They are doing well. More can be done, but at least they are doing well. That we can say.
Well, thank you very much. Still trends in the papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. I'm Sage Babalola. You've been hearing the voice of Fuadside, who is our in-house analyst. We now look at the papers. Let's start with the Punch. Electricity subsidy nears 2 trillion naira yearly. Amid its struggles to pay the over 4 trillion naira debt owed to power generation companies, the federal government incurred a total of 1.98 trillion naira in electricity subsidy obligation in 12 months from October 2024 to September 2025. This was according to the quarterly report released by the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission. In the fourth quarter of 2024, covering October to December, the electricity subsidy incurred by the government was 471.69 billion naira. It was 536.4 billion naira in the first quarter of 2025 and 514.35 billion in the second quarter of last year. Fatside, I'm not going to lie to you. This report has me a tad confused, honestly, and I was hoping to rely on your simplification to really get it. But I'll read the report so that at least there's information, there's a foundation to build your analysis. And now, as we know, the Minister of Power had told us that the subsidy on electricity was unsustainable and they could not pay it, but they would work out some sort of subsidy for those who are unable, like the poor among us. At least that's what he says, that those who still struggle to pay for their electricity bill, there will be some form of subsidy, but generally subsidy on power is completely gone. So this subsidy is paid at the source. Apparently the discos, they pay these obligations to the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC.
NBETS, yeah.
Yes, NBETS, that's what it is. So it's not like the government will pay the distribution company. It's paid at source. Discos are the one who will make this payment obligation to NBETS. That's how it has been. And even with this arrangement, apparently the federal government is now still owing 1.98 trillion naira in this subsidy obligation that they have taken on for the poor. Mind you, there's still the outstanding debt of supposed to pay an amount to NBET, right? They have now incurred 1.98 trillion in debt. Despite the banding system, despite the increase in electricity tariff and all, it would seem that there's still abysmal power distribution. The grid is obviously still acting crazy. Forgive my choice of word, but then again, and then the debt continues to increase. So we're saying, what exactly was the essence of all the manipulations that happened in the power sector at the end of the day?
See, where we got it wrong, and I'm going to simplify the entire story, really nothing too complex about it, was that, look, so long we continue to focus on cost rather than service delivery, we're going to be in trouble. We'll continue to be in trouble. Because again, for every business model, one would expect that, look, if you really want to run an entity as a business has to be big first, it has to be first about service. Then the service will now produce the money, right? But you have a situation in Nigeria where, with or without the service, government entities or institutions, organizations are able to make money. So whether the service is delivered, money must be made. So you have a situation where the minister came in and decided to focus on cost rather than first ensuring that we can deliver on the service. And that's why there's this argument about cost-reflective tariff or a service-reflective tariff. So what you have in this report is basically telling you that, look, the other people in Band B, Band C, Band D, you understand what I'm saying now, are on government subsidy. That if you are not on Band A, if you are on Band B, Band C, Band D, whatever band you think you are apart from Band A, what you are paying, just know that you are not paying the actual amount that you are supposed to pay for electricity. Government is subsidizing it. That's what the whole thing, the story is about. That's what the government is telling us. So the question is, if you are not on Band A, even people on Band A know that what has been promised in terms of the hours of power supply, they are not able to meet it those times. The people on Band B, Band C know that you only get light when you get it. You can't even calculate anything again. So the subsidy that is being paid for people in Band C, Band B, and O, who is calculating it? So what service are they paying the subsidy? So we're actually subsidizing darkness for those consumers, basically. You understand what I'm saying? Say, look. If the service is readily available, don't you think the power sector is big enough to make this money without anybody owning anything?
It is.
You don't understand what I'm saying? Just imagine the services are readily available. Everybody can be sure that, look, power supply will be available anywhere you are in the country. Number one. And then number two, meter everybody. Put everybody on prepaid meter.
They pay for what they're using. Everybody
They're going to pay for what they're using. Even though there's still the question around how we calculated their so-called cost-effective tariff. How did we arrive at 209 kilowatts per hour for Band A customers, which they are saying is the cost-effective tariff? Because they will tell you now that they did their calculation from people generating gas to gas suppliers to GENCOs to the transmission end and then eventually to the discos. So the entire value chain, how did we even arrive at that 209 kilowatt per hour as the cost-effective tariff? You understand what I'm saying? So that's also one question, because we need to know how we got to that particular calculation. Nobody has been able to explain in reasonable terms how we arrived, because if you ask the average Band A customer, it's not easy. It's not a joke to be on Band A. It now becomes a bit more complicated if you're on Band A and they are not even giving you light as they should give you. It becomes even a bigger problem if you are on Band A and they now put you on ND meter where they have to bring bills for you on postpaid. You are in trouble. We suffered it until God helped us to resolve our issue. It didn't come easy. See. So, see, the problem is, so long we continue to focus on how to make money from the system, without first thinking on how to deliver on the service, we are going nowhere. As far as the power sector, they begin to think of how to make money, because it is in the service that you now make the money. But here, we want to make money before we now deliver on the service. How does that even make any sense? Normally, a business is supposed to deliver services, and the services are not supposed to produce the money. But here in Nigeria, with the way Adelabu has structured it, it is more about first making money, and then you now begin to think of how to deliver on the service. So you now make money, you can't even deliver on the service. the grid keeps collapsing. Band A customers are not able to get the number of hours they are promising them. Band B, C, D, E, F, whatever we have on the other side, they don't even know anything. They like, when they feel like, they feel like. Up to today, you see people telling you that, look, 2-3 days you don't have light. Oh, sometimes 1 day on, 1 day off. Switch. Okay, the people that they do 1 day on, 1 day off for, or 2 days on, 2 days off for, what band are they? Which band will you put those ones?
Bandits.
And have you noticed that our minister has gone quiet? Have you noticed? Has he been talking to anybody again?
There isn't really much to say, is there?
Yes, there's nothing to say again with all this problem around. 4 trillion days pending.
괶ᴏᴜ. He has already said what he wants to say about it.
And as it is that the report is saying that in 1 year, between sometime in 2024 or 2025,
to September 2025.
that's about 2 trillion.
Yeah, about 1.9 trillion.
Yes, about also 2 trillion in subsidy payment is pending now.
Yeah.
The question is, how do we solve this problem? People producing gas is supposed to be the mid point in the whole value chain. That one is an abiku grid. It keeps collapsing. Last week, for almost 3 days, last week, we abandoned customers who they were like, we're running on them.
Yeah.
You see. So you see, again, it's unfortunate anyways where we find ourselves. Because again, you have people who get into power, what is that when you question this thing, somebody will tell you are just being unnecessarily critical. These are people who promised also that they will solve the problem. How far have they been able to solve the power problem now? Sage. How far have they been able to solve the power problem? That's why you can see that even the customers that they are supposed to make good money from, those ones are already migrating and standing on their own.
They're onboarding the grid. So right now, they're premium customers. There are no premium customers on the grid anymore. They're generating their own power.
Just imagine the money the premium customers would have given them.
Yes.
But because of the frustration, and those ones are running businesses, they are running factories, they can't continue to suffer epilepsy power supply. There's a way it disrupts their production chain, their businesses. So what they do is Emma power, they just migrate. And what it means is that they are now losing a larger chunk of their premium customers, people that are supposed to give them good money. That's what I'm talking about. How do you create a business model that talks first about cost and then later talk about service? It's supposed to be services, and then you begin to talk about cost. But here you are talking about cost, hoping to now deliver on the service. How does that even make any sense? And that is the Adelabu model. That is the Tʀᴇ model. That also is probably the renewed hope model for solving the electricity problem in the country. How far have they gone with it? That's the question.
Not very far, apparently. Well,
So,
we're in debt basically, and I don't think that there is about to be any primary improvement to the power sector at this moment. As you said, the minister hasn't really been talking to us a lot. What are we doing? Are we fixing the grid?
you know that one is busy with how to become governor in your state. That's the problem again. You have ministers who abandon their job, they are busy with their local politics, they are busy with sub politics in their state. Wiki has abandoned Abuja now in the River State, doing in up and down. So you see the problem.
Well, I mean, if you want to vie for a bigger position, I think that the most reasonable thing to do is to function appropriately in the position that you currently hold. That's the best way.
Or Kavi just resign, let another person take over. Why you focus on that one? But here you mix everything up. Nobody asks questions. There are no commitments. There's nothing intentional about what we do. We tolerate these shenanigans. We are happy with it. We celebrate them even for achieving nothing practically.
Okay. Well, that's that report on the power sector. There's debts, there's no lights, there are no meters, and the minister hasn't spoken to us yet. Still looking at the Punch newspaper. 2027, Jonathan pledged active role in PDP, says Tūraki. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has pledged to take a more active role in the activities and affairs of the People Democratic Party ahead of the 2027 general election, according to the party's national chairman, Taminu Tūraki San, or should we say factional chairman. Tūraki disclosed this while addressing journalists after a closed-door meeting with former president in Abuja on Tuesday. He arrived at Jonathan's Maitama office alongside the entire National Working Committee, former governors, founding fathers, and a few selected state chairmen. The meeting lasted about an hour, and well, Tūraki did speak and said that at that meeting he had with the former president, that the former president had assured them that he would, the former president, and most of his political career, he did so on the back of the PDP, and so he would take on more roles. Mind you, there were rumors about he might be running in 2027. He never confirmed or denied that rumor. When do is implement the advice that he has factional national chairman and national secretary. Fuata, do you think that the promise of active involvement by the former president is in any way capable of resolving the current crisis in the PDP?
It will not resolve any crisis. Jonathan does not even have the capacity to help resolve anything in the PDP. It doesn't. Don't let us even start time thinking that. Let's even ask a very, very simple question. Can Jonathan even talk to Wike?
That's
I mean,
do they not have any relationship whatsoever to the point that the president?
If he just president Tinubu, that's the only person. You understand what I'm saying? The only politician in Nigeria alive today that Wike can listen to or can be a bit fearful of, that can really clip his wings and put him in his place. Nobody should try it. Nobody should come to Rivers State.
It's a no-go area.
In fact, sometimes you may want to even think that he's even putting the president in that list there of nobody. Because he doesn't remove the president from the list. So the Tʶᴇ people are just busy. For me, I think they just like to journey around. Because I don't know, this is not the first time he visited Jonathan. But Jonathan even look like somebody who's got the capacity to help them resolve that crisis. I will go on to Jonathan then. The PDP for me, they continue to make the news because I think they are still considered the major political party in Nigeria today.
Are they?
So movements, The funny thing about politicians is that they are always sometimes very delusional about their reality. They like to lie to themselves. I know the worst form of lie is the one you tell to yourself. If they tell you a lie you may not know, you can excuse your ignorance and say, well, I didn't know. But when you begin to lie to yourself, on both sides of the PDP, the two factions, they know what the problem is. The lie is that they can't tell themselves the truth. So, Jonathan, what kind of advice do you think Jonathan will give them? Go and beat up Wike, Abby.
No, how about?
Is that one an advice? Emma Jamo is an advice.
Yes, now. Emma Jamo. Okay. So it's actually rather heartbreaking that the PDP went from being one of the biggest, most viable political party to clownery, honestly. Because every time they come up, the reaction is laughed at.
You know you can be big for nothing.
Forsyth, you need to work on your behavior. Since you really need to work on your
They were big, but they were big for nothing, really. Because if a political party exists without any clear ideology, bringing people together under that platform, you can be big, but you are just, they used to boast then that they are even bigger than the ANC of South Africa. But look, as bad as it is with the ANC now after Mandela, today that is happy receiving everybody to their party. It's not because there's any ideology bringing everybody in, or there's any ideology that exists in the party that those that are coming in will come and learn from. It's just about interest. And don't be surprised that in future, to God stay alive, the APC will also be in the same situation. It's not impossible.
People are already predicting some sort of implosion.
It's just a matter of time. Strange fellows, they are all there not because there's any, again I repeat, any clear ideology.
It's interest.
It's just about personal interest. And once this personal interest begins to now clash, and there's nobody available to rein them in to align those interests, Kata will start. That's what happened to the PDP. Immediately Obasanjo tore his membership card and left as president. That was the end for the party. Because again, Obasanjo, who was then the leader of the party, was not even running the party on any known ideology. It was also about him and him alone. So long he could not control the party again, it became a problem.
Fuata, I would like us to move along as quickly as possible. Right. Since we're still talking about the PDP, because there's a report from The Guardian I really want us to analyze. Now, but Rivers, you cannot cry foul now. PDP blast APC over Wike. Referencing the statement credited to Nyesom Wike, the public exchange that happened between Nyesom Wike and the APC National Secretary, Senator Ajibola Basiru, over political development in Rivers State. The PDP is now saying, well, the APC should not cry foul now because you let him misbehave. You let him rip the party to shreds. You supported him in all of his activities when he was wreaking chaos and threatening to put fire in the state of those who tried to go against him. And so now that his misbehavior is now directed at the APC, you have no right to cry foul. Deal with the monster, metaphorical monster that you have created.
Or tolerated.
Forsyth.
No, it's just what it is. I see a lot of people who are clear supporters of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who are supporters of the APC, who know that, look, the things which have done to the PDP, clear anti-party, but because it is beneficial to them, it benefits the APC, which is a hero. It continues to remain a hero. You understand? In fact, I've seen APC members who are condemning Ajibola Bashir. Oh, he should not have said anything into Ajibola Bashir. Who is he to condemn Wike? Not because they like Wike. It's because they think that whatever he's doing to the PDP is to the benefit of the APC. But you know the day I'm waiting for? The day Wike will now turn on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I want to see what they will now say. Because if you study Wike very well, it appears like a man that has no restraint. There's no caution in his whoever is going after him in Rivers State, he may just turn against the president, even though he's going to suffer for it. That I know he won't be there. President is still the president politically. He's got the tools and the machinery to deal with it. So the reality is that, look, yes, I understand what the PDP is saying. Well, he did it to us. You are happy because it appears that it's to your own benefit. But if it begins to destroy, because now the problem is that, look, it's already causing destruction in the APC in Rivers State. That was why Ajibola Bashir told him that you cannot be scattering everywhere. In our own party, once we have a governor of a state, he becomes the leader of the party. And so when we told you that, when we made the statement that Fubara is now the leader of the APC in Rivers State, it is not for you to now come and begin to insult everybody. Wike is so good at challenging everybody and talking about integrity. Everybody steals money but him. The next thing that talks about integrity and does not look at himself whether he has any integrity. All his life is been in politics. Where did he make his money from? The last time they asked him where he got money to buy
They're just jealous.
I agree.
Let's move along. Since we're still talking about the PDP and opposition, let's get to all the political stories so we can face the human angle story I really want us to look at. The Guardian says, I will step down for no one, Atiku vows. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has vowed not to withdraw from the 2027 presidential race. The former presidential candidate of the PDP and African Democratic Congress presidential aspirant made the declaration in a statement yesterday signed by the media aide Paul Ibe. Well, the ADC is saying that all those who are interested are summarizing the entire report at this time. And once again, Fuad Said, we have the Obedient Movement saying Peter Obi is president or nothing. Atiku Abubakar is also saying that, well, I will not be stepping down for anyone or for anything. Is this crisis brewing in the ADC? As brief as you can, please.
Well, are you ordinarily supposed to be the beauty of democracy?
Yes.
Where in a political party you have big political players who go into the process in a very democratic way. You conduct the primaries and whoever emerges becomes the candidate of the party, and you expect that other candidates now support, other aspirants now support the candidate of the party.
Yeah.
Who has emerged from it. It's extremely difficult for you to defeat an Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, resources for resources, the aura for aura. You understand what I'm saying?
No.
Not even a mistake. You know now.
Actually, you forced me to know what I don't know.
If you put Atiku against opposite, you should know what the results would eventually be. If you get what I'm saying. But I think that my mind tells me that there will be some level of concession by these parties in the ADC. Something tells me that they will have to call themselves up, lock themselves up in a room, and understand that, look, if they are not able to align these different interests, then they just need to walk over for the APC in 2027. And for the obedience, the supporters, they must understand that. Because the only way, if they are insisting that Obi must be the candidate or presidential candidate of the party, then they should go and form their own party. I don't understand where you just stand and say, no, so long they don't give the man the ticket of the party as a presidential candidate, that means you think that you can go and form your own party. And the question, the reality is that the obedience cannot by themselves alone give the presidency to Obi. It means that they still must exist within a party structure that can touch the length and breadth of the country to get the votes out for him. So how they are going to be able to concede among themselves, align these interests, is a big problem that the UDC would have to solve.
Indeed. Well, Well, Fuad, we have more national problems to worry about. I'm looking at the Guardian newspaper. This is still trends in the papers. On million Nigerians may become poorer by December. Poverty levels in Nigeria is expected to worsen significantly over the next 2 years, with as many as 141 million Nigerians, representing about 62% of the population. Outlook 2026, released yesterday, titled Turning Macroeconomic Stability into Sustainable Growth, which warns that recent policy adjustments aimed at stabilizing the economy are yet to translate into tangible welfare gains for households. PwC noted that weak real income growth, combined with persistently high cost of living, is likely to push millions more, 62% by 2026, reflecting the compounding effect of sluggish income growth and lingering inflationary pressures. Fuad Said, this is a complete contradiction of the narrative that the presidency has been pushing across different sectors, that growth projection, inflation is expected to come down to 14 to 15%. We have so much in our external reserve. We're investing all the money we are making for long-term goals. Well, the PwC is saying that, okay, great, you think your policies are great, but it is not in any way reflecting 3 million who are living below the poverty line, and that figure is it can be debated. It might be more, because figures are oftentimes managed. 141 more million people by December 2026 will.
So people understand that, look, this is not IMF, it's not World Bank, it's not even ADC, it's not Atiku, it's not Peter Obi, right? Before they say, oh, it's just politics. PwC, at least we are looking at the top, I think they talk about the top 4, the top 5, right? All the firms in the world. And I think PwC makes the list. So we are talking about a reputable financial organization in the world. If you talk about PwC, they are top on the list. So this is their report. Say, in simple basic English, they are telling us that the reforms that the APC has been talking about have yielded no result, really, no tangible result. And so their own projection, amen. Now, you want to know my prayer?
Amen. Oh, amen.
This is what they are saying. That the income levels of people will be able to touch on these things that really concern the people. More than 41 million more Nigerians will go below the poverty line, will be faced with multidimensional poverty. And so they estimate that in their own state, you are in 62. On the average, you are talking about already getting close to 70%.
That's more than the entire.
Put that against their own projections and analysis of the situation of the people. I'm not just saying it. The government can continue to rebase their data. Talk about excess reserve, talk about GDP, but you can't rebase the reality of the people. And the PwC will not help you to put out all your kids that can be trusted. If you like. And so that's the reality. So we hope, I hope that the Biodemiga will not come out and insult the company.
I think, Fuad, I'm so sorry for interrupting. Was it the IMF now, the World Bank, who had put out one report like that, where the minister of finance who said that, the methodology you're using is archaic, it's not relevant.
You see, the same IMF that they borrow money from, that they always run into, that gives them the recommendation for. The problem is that the problem with the IMF and the World Bank is that they are the ones that prescribe these things to them. So now you continue to go to them, cap in hand, begging for money, looking for loans and what have you. They give you conditions. They make these prescriptions to you. They tell you what to do. But they are also very truthful. So long when it comes to also telling you your reality, they tell you the way it is. And you can't begin to question the methodology of people that you run to every time. That's what it is, the way it is. We can be delusional about it. That's our problem. And that's why I said that for people who are so political, in everything you say, they think you are just being political. They should go and read the report and see whether it is different from what we have been saying on this platform. We are not financial experts, but we have common sense. And on the basis of common sense, we know that, look, people are getting poorer in this country, income levels are dropping, living standards are getting worse for the people. And the reforms are not working. It's not what it is. Don't be deceived by the propaganda and the figures. That is what this piece of EC report is also telling you.
Fuad, many will say that the report says that the policies are yet to yield results. So you don't think that they can argue that it doesn't mean it's not working? It just means that the effect is
okay. So is that not semantics? They are yet to okay. when is he going to use the result now? Let's ask ourselves.
I don't think anybody can project that, honestly.
Okay, so you have a reform that has no timeline of when it will begin to yield.
They shall say in the future, Sha.
Which future now? Which future? Where is the future? We need to ask the government themselves to come and tell us the timeline when we begin to see the result. Have they been able to give any timeline as to when Nigerians begin to see the result?
For execution of these policies.
That's why when I told people yesterday, somebody was asking me that go and take care of yourself. Because the sad part of what we are faced with is that the government will still not accept this reality. But if you have a government that is not accepting that there's a problem, how then will they work to solve the problem?
That's the Guardian report. I actually would implore everyone to
go to the website of PwC.
Yes.
I'm sure they're going to have it there.
Yeah,
it's their 2026. You know, they do it every year. So they do projections every year.
Not just in Nigeria. They're very active in over 130 countries. So it's every country that they give their projections to. So you can go and read it and see all the macroeconomic factors that informed. This is 2026. I hope people realize that 2026 is not December. It's December this year. They gave us a specific month in this specific year. So they pretty much know what they're doing. Well, that's all the analysis that we can really take. I'll just read the rest of the headlines. As you know, for ᴛᴏᴘ Asari Dokubo, who also said he's going to be supporting President Tinubu, which is so interesting, right? Because only a few months ago, when the whole Fubara controversy was happening, he expressed his displeasure that nobody should try to touch Fubara, remove.
He said that his own support for Tinubu is because they are friends.
Okay.
He starts, if you read the entire thing, the only thing he says is that my friend is stood by him when I had a problem, and I'm going to stand by him now. So he's just supporting the president because they are friends. That's all.
So the support for somebody who will pilot the affairs of a country is contingent.
That's according to 70-year-old man now. That's according to Asari Dokubo now.
He said 30,000 officers. This whole thing has put pressure on even the NSCDC. They're losing their officers to VIPs now, requesting heavily following the president's order to remove policemen from VIP protection. So they're hoping to recruit 30,000 more officers to aid them in this whole scenario. Well, I think that's actually the most. Government suspends Oyo monarch over alleged illegal. To take a break so we can take your contribution to the matters. For our side, we appreciate you for your analysis as always. Have a great morning. All right, let's take that break. When we come back, it'll be time for Mainland Focus so that we can take your feedback on these